Hello, my friend. You're listening to CEO Soapbox Podcast with Neda Farzad, episode number 4. So happy to have you here with me. Today, we're going to talk about something that's probably making your company bleed money, talent, and potential. And that's your obsession with being nice. Yes, I said it. That warm, fuzzy, everyone gets a trophy culture might feel good, but it's often a mask for a corrosive lack of honesty. By the end of this episode, you have a clear framework for replacing nice with kind, fostering a culture where direct feedback fuels growth instead of fear. So let's get real. As leaders, there are few things we hate admitting, even to ourselves. First, we secretly dread performance reviews because we know we're going to soften the blow on the performance. Again, we'd rather deal with the mediocrity rather than have a truly uncomfortable conversation. Second, we keep that one person on the team. You know the one I mean? They're lovely, everyone likes them, but they haven't delivered anything meaningful in the past 6 months. We keep them because firing them feels cruel. And third, we avoid giving direct feedback because we are terrified of being seen as a villain. We want to be liked. And you know those people pleasing diseases? It's a human impulse, but in a leadership role, it is a liability. We tell ourselves it's about maintaining morale, but really it's about avoiding our own discomfort. The outcome, you end up with a team that can't innovate, top performers who leave because they're sick of carrying a dead weight, and a bottom line that reflects a culture of complacency. So, what you really want, what every leader listening wants, are 3 things: a team that holds itself accountable so you don't have to be the sole enforcer, the ability to solve problems faster because people are telling you the truth, not what they think you want to hear. And number 3, a workplace where excellence is the standard, not the exception. And that brings me to my hot take on this whole thing. Here it is. The obsession with nice is the most selfish thing a leader can do. And I know a lot of you listening to this going to hate me for this. It prioritizes comfort over the team's growth and the company's health. And that leader is not being kind, but being a coward. Let's break it down why this happens. My first point is that niceness and kindness are not the same thing. Niceness is conflict avoidant. It's about being pleasing. Kindness, on the other hand, is about having the other person's best interest at heart, even when it's difficult. Not telling your marketing manager their campaigns are missing the mark and missing the lead quality isn't nice. It's setting them up to fail. You're letting them operate with a blind spot that could stall their career. It matters because when you confuse the two, you rob your people of the single most important ingredient for their professional growth. And that's the truth. This leads to the massive mistake I see all the time. Leaders think that building a psychologically safe environment means padding every criticism. They create what I call a feedback sandwich. Say something nice, deliver the critic, say something nice again. It's bullshit. Most people just hear the bread and ignore the meat. The common mistake is believing that directness is inherently brutal, but it's not. Brutality is about intent. Directness is about clarity. You can be direct and still be respectful. The real damage comes from ambiguity, which leaves people anxious and confused. And that's not what you want. So what's the practical shift? You need to move from a culture of harmony to a culture of high stakes trust. Harmony is about absence of conflict, in my opinion. The confidence is trusting that you can survive conflict. It's the belief that you can tell a colleague, this report isn't good enough, and know that the relationship won't implode. The shift is to start rewarding and modeling honest feedback, even when it's uncomfortable. Make it normal. The person who flags a problem before it derails a project should be celebrated, not seen as negative. Okay, so how do we actually fix this? What are the solutions? It's simpler than you think. It boils down to two key areas, and that's systems and skills. First, the systems. You need to create rituals for the culture of accountability. And that means, number one, implement real-time reviews. Ditch this annual review as your only feedback tool. Mandate short, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly check-ins where the only agenda item is, what's one thing I could do better? And what's the one thing you're struggling with? Make that non-negotiable part of your operational rhythm. Number two is I want you to separate performance from pay. You've got to separate performance conversations from a salary discussions. When they are linked, the employee is defensive from the start because they can't hear the feedback because all they're thinking about is, what about my bonus? Have performance talks quarterly, but pay talks annually. Second is we want to build skills. You can't just tell people, be more honest and expect it to work. Two things we got to do. Train for difficult conversations. You've got to teach your managers how to deliver feedback that is specific, behavioral, and focus on impact, not personality. Instead of you're being lazy, which I really, really hope in 2025, there is no manager who is saying that. It's when you missed, this is what we're going to talk about. When you miss deadline, it pushed back the entire project timeline and it means other team members have to work weekends to catch up. We need to work on this, how I can help you. The next one is you go first. As the leader, you have to model this. Actively ask for criticism. Say things like, what's one thing I did this week that created a bottleneck for you or your process or your work? And when you get the feedback, do not get defensive. Just say, thank you for telling me. Because sometimes it's a good feedback. If you can't take it, no one else will ever give it. So how do you implement this without office evolving into a war zone? I want you to start small. Pick one team. Introduce the idea of direct, kind feedback as a tool for collective improvement. Before we wrap up, I want to challenge one more piece of common wisdom. We often told, this is again, some of you are going to be disagreeing with me, and that's absolutely fine. We're often told, don't criticize, just praise in public and correct in private. I totally disagree. The reason being because not all of us know that we shouldn't attack the person itself as a human. We are talking about the outcome. When done right, correcting a strategy, not a person, in a group setting can be incredibly powerful. It teaches the whole team how to think. It normalizes the idea that not every first attempt will be perfect. It shows that course correction is just part of the process. That's the insight no one talks about. Public, respectful, strategic debate is a sign of a healthy team, not a dysfunctional one. All right, let's nail down the takeaway from today. First, we want to stop trying to be nice, start practicing kindness, which means telling people the truth for their own benefit. Again, we're not attacking a person. Second, I want you to separate feedback from fear, separate performance review from a pay discussion, and make direct, real-time feedback a normal part of your week or your month, however you can manage it. Don't go more than a quarter. Third, leaders go first. If you want a culture of honesty, you must be the first one to ask for criticism and the last one to get defensive. And finally, remember this: a comfortable silence is more dangerous than a difficult conversation. Your team does not need a cheerleader. They need an actual leader. A good leader tells you when your form is off. That isn't mean. It's the only way you win. Thanks for getting on the soapbox with me today. If any of this hit home, I'd love to connect with you. You can find me on LinkedIn under Neda Farzad, Nedafarzad, and on Instagram and Facebook at Neda Farzad Official. Let me know your thought. And make sure you're tuning next week because we're tackling a big one. Your obsession with competitors is killing your originality. Have a wonderful week, my friend, and I'll see you next time.